Shalom, shalom. This is your brother Yashamai from the GMS Atlanta camp. And before I get into this message, I want to start off by giving all praises, all glory, and all honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahabushai, Bahashim, Rakwakadash. And I want to send double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who only teach well. This is going to be somewhat of a long message because this is an important message. This is an overview on Revelation 6 and 1. And it's through the elders and the apostles whom Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai used as vessels to give us the understanding of these scriptures. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Now, a little bit of background, actually, a little bit of background on the book of Revelation is this book was written by John the Revelator, and it was written in the year 96 BC. So this was about 26 years or so after 70 AD, which was the destruction of the temple and Jerusalem. So this was one thing to be mindful, or one thing that I kept in mind when reading this chapter and getting the breakdown, was that John hadn't seen the scattering yet. He had, but he hadn't seen where we are now. So be mindful of that, of his timeline and the revelations, okay? Because here we are 2,000 years later, right? Some of these curses, some of these judgments have already begun. So let's go to get chapter 6, verse 1. And I saw, when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard as it were the noise of the thunder, one of the four beasts saying, "Come and see." Now let's go ahead and get Deuteronomy 29. Deuteronomy 29 and 29. The secret things belong unto Yahweh, our power. But those things which are revealed belong unto us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of his law. Now, who was Moses talking to? He was talking to the Israelites. See, these revelations, our elders and our apostles, through the Spirit, were given the understanding, and these revelations belong to us, all right? Because the Most High only works, only speaks to Israelites. He reveals his secrets to his friends, the prophets, Amos 3 and 7. Proverbs 1 and 5 says to search out wisdom. And this is why we give double honors, because it's through the elders and the apostles who searched the scriptures, back starting in 1969, before the age of the internet, man. So but these secrets, these things have been revealed to them, who have then fed us, man. But we know verse 1 in Revelation is talking about Yahweh, because only he was able to open up the seals, right? It says that there was none worthy but only the Lamb, all right? Verse 2. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. Now, when you go, let's get that word white. A white horse, lycos, and that's a light, bright, brilliant from whiteness of the garments of angels and of those exalted to the splendor of the heavenly state. But the third meaning here is of white garments as a sign of innocence and purity of the soul. And again, goes back to show you that who was the most pure, who was the only one able to open up these books. It was Yahushua, because he was he was the unblemished sacrifice. He still is, right? So white goes into purity, man. And he that sat on him had a bow. Now, what is that bow? That bow is a weapon. It's the sword, because we have to keep it in mind. When Yahushua comes back, he's not coming back for peace. He's coming back with a vengeance, right? The book of Isaiah says he's got a sacrifice in Basra. In the book of Amos, I believe is the fourth chapter, says, "Woe unto you who desire the day of Yahweh, for it is a day of darkness." Right? So he's not coming back, with smiles and rainbows. He's coming back with a bow. And matter of fact, we're going to go ahead and prove that that bow is a weapon. Let's get Psalms 45. Psalms 45 and 1 now. Now this was a psalm that was written for a king, but it's actually prophetically speaking about Yahushua. All right, my heart is inditing a good matter. I speak of the things which I have made touching the king. And we know Yahushua to be the king of kings, right? My tongue is the pen of a ready writer. Verse 2, thou art fairer than the children of men. Grace is poured into thy lips. Therefore Yahweh has blessed thee forever. Right? And a good precept for this was uh, when Yahushua came in the form of King Solomon. Right? He says, I shall bless him forever, or his mercy shall not depart from me. Right? This is talking about Yahushua. Right? It's continue on. Therefore, okay, verse 3, gird thy sword upon thy thigh. Right? So when Yahushua comes back, he's coming with the sword. That's the bow spoken about in Revelation 6 and 2. Gird thy sword upon thy thigh, O most mighty, right? With thy glory and thy majesty. Now, um, put keep thy glory and thy majesty in the back of your dome, because we're going to come back to that. All right, thy glory and thy majesty, and in thy majesty ride prosperously, because of truth and meekness and righteousness. Right? Wow, man, that's beautiful. Because verse 2 says that he comes on a white horse. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and get into it and say that the horse isn't an actual horse. A horse, horses were used for battle. Yahushua is not coming on a Pegasus. He's not coming on a white Arabian horse. He's coming back in a chariot, right? Second Ezra 13 says that when he looked up, he saw him riding upon a mountain, and he couldn't even look to see where the mountain started and where it ended. And one thing that the brother Radah has shared with me, or I think I forgot who it was, but somebody had shared with me that when you look up, the furthest the visible eye can see is about 3.5 miles or something like that. So when you look up to the sky, you can only see 3.5 miles far out. So Ezra's looked on all four sides, and he still couldn't see the end, man. So that horse, that white horse, is His Majesty, and that white horse are the chariots, the so-called UFOs, the Maracabas, right? So that's why I had you guys keep it in mind, thy glory and thy majesty, and in thy majesty ride prosperously. You see how beautifully this lines up with Revelation 6 and 2, in thy majesty ride prosperously, because of truth and meekness and righteousness. Righteousness goes back into the purity, man. And thy right hand shall teach thee terrible things, right? And doesn't the book of Ezra say, strong is his right hand who bendeth the bow? Right? And another thing that I do want to point out is that it's that judgment is coming on the right hand. And I want to hone in on this, because we know that Yahushua has spirits on the left hand and on the right hand, right? And we're going to get scriptures on that later on. But the left hand is for our terrible spirits, right? But this says that he's coming, and whoa, Salakia. It says he's coming. It says, and thy right hand shall teach thee terrible things. So typically, it's the spirits on the left-handed side that come with nasty judgment, but this time it's his right hand, and that's because this is a righteous judgment to be poured out. All right, let's continue on here. Uh, um, thine arrows, Thine arrows are sharp in the heart of the king's enemies, whereby the people fall under thee, right? Because he's coming back to conquer, right? So let's get and again, when you see how beautiful these precepts line up with the definitions, light, purity, majesty, righteousness, meekness, it's none other than Yahweh, man. And again, this is why we give double honors to the elders and the apostles, because we have the blue letter right now. Back in 1969, 1970s, when the truth was being spread, you know, uh, on dial-up internet. No, well, actually, that was before the internet, I think. But the point is that they've done the work for us, man. They've trodden the path, So it's very important. And a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. Because we know that when Yahushua comes back, we know he's coming to rule. And Yahushua can't rule with the world. Yahushua is coming to rule the world. So for him to rule the world, the earth, he has to take down all the rulerships. And have you ever heard of a of an empire coming down and knocking out all the other empires? Without a fight? No. For one to rise up, one must fall down. Right. So for those that are trying to vote, for Babylon to continue on, there's it's not going to happen. He's coming to take the crown. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and get 1 Corinthians 15 and 24. Let's go to 15 and 24. 15 and 24. Then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to Yahweh, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power. Right? He's got to put everything down before him. And who is that? He's Sama Yahushai. And this lines up perfectly with Revelation 6 and 2, verse 25. For he must reign till he has put all enemies under his feet. Ooh, Salaki. Give me just a second, brothers. I'm parking here. All right. I think that's it for that. I think that's it for that precept here. Revelation 6 and 2. And he went forth conquering and to conquer, right? Verse 3. Salakia. Verse 3. Just they posted that here. Verse 3 says, and when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. Now, this one should be, for those that have a general idea of the truth. This one should be a very easy one. This horse is talking about, Esau, right? Because we know that horses also represent power. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and get that. When he's about to fill his belly, your sword. There you go, right. I think it's Ecclesiastes. Yep. Ecclesiastes 10 and 7 says, I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth, right? So this verse is talking about Esau right now being in his stage of rulership when their righteous form should be to be serving us. These are the bases of men. So what this precept is saying is the horses represent power, and princes, that's us, walking as servants upon the earth. So horses here, this red horse is power, right? Let's go ahead and get Genesis 25, and then we'll get into Genesis 27, because we're going to prove who that red horse is. Isaac's son. Okay, right here. Let's start at 24. Well, no, let's go ahead and say, let's get 23. And Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and one people shall be stronger than the other. Verse 25, and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau, right? So he came out red. And then if you scroll down to verse 30, it says, and Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am pain. Therefore his name was called Edom, Adullam, right? So that red horse is Esau Edom. And it says, if you remember, verse 2 says, unto him it was given a great sword, right? And we know that Esau was blessed with the sword. This is Genesis 27 and 38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. Verse 40, this is what we want to get. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. So his blessing was the sword. Let's go ahead and get back to Revelation 6. So let's go ahead and get back to Revelation 6, right? So we know his sword is the blessing. We know that we've already established that the red horse is Esau, and it says to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and that was given unto him a great sword, right? So let's get Habakkuk 2 and 5, because you know this man has been taking peace from the earth. This is Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yea, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathers unto him all nations, and heaps unto him all people. Right? Um, since these people have been in rulership, they have been going from country to country, right? Setting up their military bases, and then when the kings of the earth don't bow down, what do? They orchestrate coups, just like we are seeing in Venezuela, just like we're seeing in Brazil when they stole that election from that Bolsonaro guy, right? So he's consistently gone out and taken peace from the earth and made kings to bow to him. And in the process of him doing so, he slaughtered many. He took peace from the earth, right? He took peace from Gad. He took peace from Issachar, and he took their land. Um, Matter of fact, another precept for that as well. I, I didn't have this one on my notes, but it's Isaiah 14, because even the other nations acknowledge, right? For thou hast said, yet that shall be by. Oh, right here, verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble and did shake kingdoms, that made the wilderness, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners? So, even all the other nations recognize who this man is. Give me just a second, brothers. I've got to run in here. Give me just a second. Shalakia, Shalakia. So we're in Revelation 6, I think 130. Let's get back to it. And when he had opened the second seal, great sword. Verse 5. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. So this black horse is a representation of judgment. Now, again, we're in the year 2000, but at the time that this was written in 96 BC, this was prior to the transatlantic slave trade, right? So when you go into that word balance, let's see here. Let's get that word balance. Balance. Where you at? So, black horse, pair of balances. The zugos or zugos. And that word balance is a yoke that is put on draft cattle, metaphorically used of any burden or bondage as that of slavery, right? So that balance is judgment. Judgment showing the captivity of the southern kingdom, right? And judgment through the scattering to the four corners via the transatlantic slave trade. Judgment on Gad through the trail of tears because you know uh, our people had gone off. So that fourth horse again, because this was written in 96 A.D. John didn't know or hadn't seen the transatlantic slave trade, but it was being shown unto him. The yoke was being shown unto him, right? Let's see here. Um, and then it continues on and says, come and see death and power. No, no. Hunger and death. Okay, continue on. And I heard of verse 6, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see, thou heard not the oil and the wine. So let's get that. So, and by the way, matter of fact, let's go ahead and get this in a different translation just to make it very simple for y'all. Verse 6. This is a New Living Translation. And I heard a voice from among the four living beings saying, a loaf of wheat bread, or 3 loaves of barley will cost a day's pay. All right. So when you go into that word penny, it's a denarii, and when you go into denarii, a a denarii was a day's pay. So it was principal silver. Boom, 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 boom. It would seem that a denarii was the ordinary pay for a day's wages. So this is part of that judgment, right? The judgment that was to come was the transatlantic slave trade and famine. Because for a slice of bread, you know, you would have to pay a day's wage. And this famine is mentioned in the book of Second Ezra 16. Let's go ahead and get that. Second Ezra 16. So John the Revelator is seeing the balances, which is the yoke, that's the transatlantic slave trade, and then he's also seeing a loaf of bread for a day's wages, which is a representation of famine, and that's what's coming, man. Second Ezra 16 and 17. Woe is me. Who will deliver me in those days? Because we have to keep in mind that Ezra was shown the same vision. Well, not the exact same vision, but he saw the famine coming. Verse 18: the beginning of sorrows, and gray mornings, and the beginning of famine and great death. That's going back into those balances, back into the judgment. The beginning of wars and the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Because this famine is going to get bad, man. People are going to be eating each other, man. People are going to be killing people just to eat their flesh, man. Cannibalism. Because America, man, is a very, and some of us too. If we're completely honest, we have been made weak, man. We snack all the time, right? There was I saw a message like several months ago that that guy, Rich Dad Poor Dad, when he was in Vietnam, he said him and his platoon got lost or something like that, and after 4 days, they had turned into savages. He was talking about they were, giving each other the side eye. They were grunting and eating like cavemen when they found some, I forgot what kind of ant, animal they found, but it's because, see, when you make somebody very weak and very dependent, man, and then you take that away from them, it's even worse than if they never had it, man. It's like giving a kid a toy and taking it away from him. He cries like no other. But if you would have never given him the toy, it wouldn't be as bad. I hope you brothers can understand the point that I'm trying to make here. We've been made very weak, man. And when this famine comes, when this when Babylon gets its taste of judgment, when this city of unwalled villages, when this virgin city finally gets its judgment, it's going to be worse than what they're dealing with in Africa because they've come accustomed to, those Cushites have had a very bad hand, and they've grown accustomed to, just like Issachar down there in Mexico, bro. They when you're accustomed to difficult times, some things don't phase you, but that's not the case with Babylon. This judgment coming, man. This measure of wheat for a denarii is going to be very destructive because our people are weak, man. These people are weak. But let's continue on. I think we're on verse 18. Let me see. No, 19. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. Right, scourges. These scourges, or these whippings are sent, first and foremost for Israel because our people have gone off and they continue to go off, man. The elder apostle Arambla, he brought up a good point. He said when 9/11 happened, everyone was sorrow. They were in mourning, but that only lasted like 2 days, and then they continued back into the folly, and then Babylon sunk even further into its Sodom and Gomorrah ways, right? And then even that, there's been much death, but these people continue to build upon their iniquity, man, sin upon sin. So these things have to come. First and foremost, the house of Israel, because Scripture says judgment starts in the house of Jacob, right? But then, of course, it goes down. Uh, these curses, these judgments, are going to jump on the wicked and you heathens, man. Let's get let's continue on. Verse 20, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of their scourges. Again, like I just said, man, it's shoot. Like I said, these, our people and the world just don't learn, man. It's verse 21, behold, victuals shall be good and cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even the evils, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth. Sword, famine, and great confusion. Going back to those balances, right? So, um, what Scripture's telling us is that there's going to be a point, because right now the times that we're living in, they're very shaky, right? But there's going to be a point where things are going to look like they're getting better. Shit, we kind of see that now. Gas is like 287, which is still expensive, but it's better than what it has been, right? Because it's been like 350, damn near $4, right? So there's things are going to look like they're getting back to normal, whether Kamala gets in or whether Trump gets in. But there's going to be some kind of normalcy coming back. But Scripture says that when that happens, man, that's when judgment's coming. Matter of fact, let's get Job 20 on that. And then, boom, Job 20. Where you at? Job 20, I think 23. Job 20 and 23. When he is about, this is talking about the wicked, right? When he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and he shall rain it upon him while he is eating, man. So again, when when he's about to fill his belly, or when when he's about to be okay. It says Yahweh's judgment's coming, man. Right? There is no escaping this judgment, man. So our people got to get right, you know, before it's too late. Because once Yahweh Shai comes back, again, he's coming to conquer, man. He's coming to conquer. But continuing on, it says, see thou heard not the oil and the wine, because see, even through all this judgment, oil and the wine goes into the scriptures, right? But even through all this judgment, the truth is still going to be out there, man. But even when the truth, even see, this is the mercy of Yahweh, man. Even through all this judgment, his hand is still stretched out, just like he wrote in the book of Isaiah. Even when he sent the Assyrians, his hand is still stretched out. And even when he's sending these judgments, his hand is still stretched out, through meaning that there's still access to the truth. Right now, while these messages are going up, there's still access, man, for our people to turn out. That's why, that's the mercy that Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, is showing the world. It says, but even through all this judgment, still give my people the chance to listen to the word. But then it's a double-edged sword, because when you hear the truth, when you hear the word, there's room for salvation, but then there's also room for condemnation. Salvation if you incline your ear, but condemnation if you're a scoffer. Condemnation if you don't believe, right? But let's continue on. Verse 7. And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, come and see. Verse 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse. And his name that sat on him was Death. And hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beast of the earth. So this is further judgment, right? Further judgment coming upon by the hand of Esau, the self-proclaimed white man. And when you look at these judgments, it's talking about to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death. Now, let's go ahead and get some precepts on this. Let's go into Ecclesiasticus 39 and around the 28th verse. Ecclesiasticus 39. 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes in the time of destruction, right? Which is what we're reading. Revelation 6 is the time of destruction. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. And so this is also a cut again. While I'm on the scripture, this is also a cut for you Christians, because who is the creator of all things? Yahweh, right? The one whom you ignorantly call God. So if these spirits are created for vengeance, that that shows you that Yahweh is not just love, love, love. Yahweh creates these spirits made for vengeance, and these vengeance go forth to appease the wrath of him that made them. Again, and appease the wrath of him, Yahweh, that made them. So Yahweh has wrath, man. And these are the judgments coming: fire and hail and famine and death. All these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. And the wicked here, that's, because we know that the word of Yahweh is a double-edged sword. The wicked here is talking about the wicked, you so-called, you self-proclaimed white people, but it's also, talking about two-thirds of our people, man, because our people have joined hand in hand with the wicked, man. So when you align yourself with the wicked, you get the same punishment, man, right? Scripture says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and be not partakers of her sin and her judgment, right? Because when you align yourself with Babylon, you're aligning yourself with what's coming to Babylon also, man. So, these spirits, that's that's coming on that pale horse, right? And if you notice, it says, verse 31 says, "They shall rejoice in His commandment, and they shall be ready upon the earth when need is, and when their time is come, they shall not transgress His word." So again, this puts the nail in the coffin, His word. So these evil spirits are coming to do nasty things according to His word, which is Yahweh, because He created them, you know, and they're coming. It says here, when need is, and when their time has come. And in the book of Revelation, chapter 6, it's the time of judgment, man. It's the time for death, because our people have had much time to turn from their wicked ways, man, but they don't. you know, and also too, while we're on this verse here, you know, judgment can also be coming to us. Now, we hope to be part of the 144,000 that gets beamed up, that gets saved from these scourges. But we don't know what we've done in our past lives, man. And if you bring into mind, Scripture says that Yahweh punishes the children for the sins of their fathers, even unto the third generation, man. So, it's very important also because you it's very simple for us to get caught up on condemning other people, but you know, our salvation isn't 100% sure. We don't know what our lot is, man. So it's very important for us to be in the house of mourning, to be a humbled woman, right? Because the Most High likens Israel unto a calm and delicate woman, right? So, these judgments, some of us are gonna get some of these judgments, right? But it's okay because when the judgment comes and when we leave these bodies, man, through faith, we're gonna be in the spirit world, man. It's gonna be done. Uh, let's continue on. Let's see. See if I got any more on that here. Hold on a minute. No, I think that's it. Revelation 6 and 9. And when he had opened the fifth seal, let's go and pull that up. And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain. So, like, the souls of them that were slain. Let me see, boom. For the word of Yahweh and for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Yahweh, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on earth? So when this fifth seal is open, that's going to be when the prayers of the saints that have been killed for this word are going to reach uh, unto the ears of Yahweh, and He's coming back with vengeance, man. Right? Verse 11. And white robes were given unto every one of them, and it was said unto them that they should rest yet a little, that they should rest yet for a little season, until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled. So the prayers are going to reach up until Yahweh, and Yahweh's going to say, wait a second, there's still more judgment to come, but I'm coming for the get back, right? These are the Israelites killed for the truth, man. See, Yahweh's coming back uh, 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 because y'all have touched the wicked, the self-proclaimed have touched the apple of His eye. Let's go ahead and get Zechariah 2 and 8. For thus saith Yahweh of hosts, after the glory has He sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. Right? Who is the you? It's talking about the Israelites. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. See, because he touched us, is look, we went off, right? But and Esau, the self-proclaimed white man, and these other nations who had a hand, right? Um, their purpose is going to be complete. Lamentations 4:4-21 says, "Rejoice, O daughter of Edom, for the cup shall also pass through thee." See, Esau had a role along with the other nations, and that was to pass judgment upon us. But once that judgment is done being passed, once you get done using a certain tool, what do you do with it? You put it down. But in this case, you're not being put down because you've been put down before. That's why you have that wound, that deadly wound on your head. You were put down once, but now you're about to be destroyed, man, because you've touched the apple of his eye. That and that's scripture telling you this, man. It's not me telling you. It's not the prophets telling you. Well, I mean, it is, but we're telling you what scripture says. So again, for you Christians, do you believe the Bible? Because the Bible's saying that people are going to be killed for touching the apple of his eye. But y'all don't talk about that. Y'all don't talk about that in your white Jesus version, man. Give me a second. 29. God damn. Alright. So I still got some time here, man. Zechariah 2 and 8. And then let's get verse 9. For behold, I will shake my hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to the servants, and yet shall know that Yahweh of hosts has sent me. Right? It says they shall be a spoil. Right? So let's go ahead and get back into Isaiah 14. And let's get verse 1 and 2. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel. So even through all of our wickedness, the Most High will not cast away the apple of his eye, and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Right? Because once Yahweh comes back and these judgments are being done, sent out, just like it said in verse 2, and he goes forth, to conquer, all these nations are going to be joined, shall cleave to the house of Jacob, meaning they're going to follow our rule. They're going to follow the laws. Verse 2, and the people, that's talking about Israel, talking about Jacob, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them. Who's the them? It's talking about the other nations. Shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids. Right. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. You see how beautifully Scripture lines up? And when Scripture lines up like that, precept upon precept, we know that it's exactly solidified, that this is exactly what it meant. And I just showed you Zechariah 2 and Isaiah 14 and the book of Revelation 6, So all this lines up, man. We're not making it up. And when something doesn't line up, we have to go back and see, is that really what it's saying? Um, let's see here. Matter of fact, let's go back to 2nd Ezra 15, because there's more on this. There's more on Yahweh coming back to get you people, man. Verse 7. Now, for y'all, verse 7, again, this isn't us saying it, but verse 7, therefore saith Yahweh. This is Yahweh saying this. I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and the righteous blood cries unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. Going back to Revelation 6, when the souls of the saints are saying, how long? Right? Verse 9, and therefore saith Yahweh, I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Right? Now, innocent blood, We know that Scripture says, who who whoever died whoever died being innocent, right? It's not talking about innocent or sinless, but the righteous blood, the saints, because even though we are in sin, we are His apple. We are innocent to Him, and we're especially innocent when compared to you heathens, man. Especially, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, right? And now we know that according to Revelations 11 and 8, you know, this is Egypt, right? We are in our land of captivity. So this is talking about Yahweh coming back and delivering us from Egypt, also known as the land of the north, also known as Babylon the Great. So Yahweh's coming back to slaughter y'all, man. And then I think that's all the presets for that one. But let's get back into Revelation 6. Oh, shoot. Revelations 6 and 12. 6 and 12. And behold, when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became blood, and the stars of heaven fell onto the earth, even as a fig tree casts her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. All right, so when it talks about the earthquake, that earthquake is being caused by thermonuclear destruction. Matter of fact, let's get some precept on that. Earth to and fro. Earth shall shake like a drunkard. Earth will shake to and fro. The earth, Isaiah 24:20. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it. It shall fall and not rise again. Now, it's not talking about the destruction of the earth, because in the book of Ecclesiastes, I think it's the first chapter or the third chapter, says that this earth shall not fade away. So this earth here is talking about the rulership, and according to Joel, the earth is going to shake when those mighty men climb the wall. Who are those mighty men? It's talking about the missiles. It's talking about thermonuclear destruction. There's going to be so many bombs sent on Babylon the Great, man, that the earth is going to shake. All right? It says none shall break their rank. Every missile shot is going to hit, man. Let's see. Let's get back to Revelation 6, because I think there's 6 and 12. And lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth, and the moon became as blood. Verse 13, and the stars of heaven fell onto the earth, even as a fig tree casts her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. Right, but matter of fact, let's get the blue letter on that, because those stars here, it's not talking about the missiles here, but those stars is talking about the rulership, right? The mighty kings, the mighty men, they shall fall down. The bankers, right? The bankers, the so-called elite, the so-called Illuminati, for you people, y'all want to make up terms like the elite, the deep state, the Illuminati, the New World Order. But I mean, if you look closely, there's a certain race of people that are at the heads of all those, but y'all are too scared to call it out. And the stars of heaven fell into the earth, even as a fig tree casts her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And we know that mighty wind again is going back into the thermonuclear destruction, and we're going to get a precept on that. But I want to get untimely. Fell unto heaven, untimely figs. An unripe fig which grows during the winter, yet does not come to maturity, but falls off in the spring. That's right. And Esau, you are that unripe fig, which is going to be thrown off in immaturity, because you're not going to be able to feel. your belly, just like we read in Job 20 and 23, when he is about to fill his belly, which lines up perfectly with this definition. An imma falls off but does not come to maturity because you're not going to achieve it, man. You're not going to achieve marking the remnant. You're not going to achieve casting off prophecy, man. You know, still got 13 minutes. Wow. Okay. So so let's go ahead and get some scripture on that. Jeremiah 51. Let's get Jeremiah 51 because we're going to prove the mighty win, right? Scripture says, "Prove all things," and I know that there's not many scoffers here, but we prove all things just so that those that are listening in don't just take us for our word, but they actually read the Bible. Verse 51 and 1. Thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon, right? And as I mentioned, America is Babylon, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind, right? That's that same wind mentioned in verse 12 in Revelation 6, man. And again, I do want to zone in on this. It says, and them that dwell in the midst of them and rise up against me. All right, because even though we are in the midst of Babylon, we're not rising up against Yahweh. How do you rise up against Yahweh? We're not talking about throwing rocks at the sky, man, but you rise up against Yahweh when you join hand in hand with the wicked. You rise up against Yahweh when you rebel. When you rebel his commandments, the word rebellion goes into an act of war. Before war starts, there's a rebellion. And that's you rising up against Yahweh. Verse 2, and I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Good. Salakia. So this is Yahweh sending judgment, man. And he's been waiting for it. And he's been speaking about judgment on Babylon since the book of Jeremiah, man. But all prophecy has to come to fruition. All things have to be done in order. But Yahweh's been wanting to take these people out, man. Let's get back to Revelation 6, and I believe we're on the 14th chapter. I think. Let's see, Revelation 6, 14. And I just want to say, Salakia brothers, and Thawada, for I know this message is long. I'm driving. I'm trying to get this message out. I've been wanting to get out for the past couple of days, but I've just, work and life, man. So, but I've got to get this out. I'm driving. So thanks for your patience, Thawada. Verse 15. No, verse 14. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. Right, going back to that earthquake, going back into that destroying wind. When it says the heaven departed as a scroll, it's like it's talking about the mushroom cloud. Let's go ahead and look up mushroom cloud. Mushroom cloud. So this is what 40 West. Not yet. This is what it's talking about right here. It's a very good one. When you roll a scroll together, top and bottom, boom, right? That's the heavens being opened up, man. This is what's coming up. And there's gonna be hundreds of thousands of missiles shot at this place, man. This place has continued too long, man. It said it says that Scripture says the stench of Babylon has reached even up until the heavens, man. That's how much sin there is. Iniquity, sin upon sin, man. And this place can't continue on because for this place to continue on, man, this place can't continue on. It can't continue on. Let's get this in. Crossville. See if we can get this message out. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their place. Verse 15, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. Right, 15 lands. 15 lines up with 13. No, with the stars that fell down, right? Because when their kingdom is falling apart, all these mighty men, Amalek, uh, uh, all these people that are part of the beast system, they're going to go into their underground tunnels, man. And that's why there's a lot of these underground tunnels because they know what's coming. So for for those that are thinking uh, that what we're saying aren't true, um, especially for you, especially for you Israelites, man. If you're thinking that what we're saying is not true, I've got a question for you. If that's the case, then why are these people building up bomb shelters? Why have they been building it since the 1950s, 1960s, man? Why? Because they know. They know what's coming, man. But that's okay. You know what? If you don't believe us, hey, it's just more. It's just more fire for the fire pit, man. This is Isaiah 34. Um, let's go ahead and get two. For the indignation of Yahweh is upon all the nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He has utterly destroyed them. He has delivered them to the slaughter. Verse 4. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and their host shall fall down as a leaf falls off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. And I do want to point out that that fig tree lines up perfect with what we read above right here, verse 13. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth. That's talking about the kings, even as a fig tree casts her untimely figs. Lines up perfect, man. Let me see. And I think that's it for. I think that's it for 14. No, for 15. Verse 16. And said to the so these are those kings there. And they said to the mountains and the rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sits on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Right, further proving the point, man, that these people know what's coming, man. That's why they built these tunnels, man, and they're gonna try to escape this judgment, right? But Scripture says that Yahweh is gonna turn us into a Yahweh is gonna turn us into a weapon, and that we should be fishers of men, going into those caves and getting these people, man. There is no escaping. There, there is no escaping uh, destruction, man. All right, let's go ahead and get Galatians 6 and 7, and then we will wrap up with a couple with this Galatians 6 and 7. Be not deceived, Yahweh is not mocked. For whatsoever a man sows, that shall he also reap. All right, because y'all have touched the apple of his eye. You've tried. By then, you will have implemented the MOTB, right? Um, you've you've done too much, Salakia, brothers. I'm trying to focus, but next one, take that. Oh, going back to it. Going back to Galatians, right? They've got to pay for what they've done, man. And those rocks and mountains, as I said, are their bomb shelters. You see, their hope is in their tunnels, man. But our hope is in Yahweh Shai, man. And and we do pray that we be of that number, We hope that we be delivered from that destruction, man. But that's all that I've got for this lesson. I know it was a little long, but on these important ones, it's very important that we get the scriptures, we get the precepts. Lord willing, y'all were edified. And with that, I say shalom.